This is a short video on how to do a basic tune-up on a Kohler K582 23 horsepower engine. Now the first thing you want to do is remove this cover right here, because the points are under this cover. They're actually down towards the bottom of it. The gap is down here at the bottom. So once you remove this cover, you'll unscrew, I think, 2 screws, remove the points, and then put a new set of points in. Then you have to set the gap. So you need a feeler gauge like this one at 20 thousandths, and then you slide it inside the gap and then set the points. Okay, once you're done with the points, then you can come over here, and there's the condenser is on the front of the coil over here, so you can see that right there. And then you just unbolt that, put the new condenser on, and the wire goes around and attaches to the back side of this. Okay, so then you're done with that. And then I also suggest you, well, obviously you change the air filter and change the oil, and the oil filter is right down there, so that's pretty self-explanatory. But then the other thing you might want to do is check the tappet clearance or the valve clearance, because when the engine gets hot, everything expands, and if there was not a little clearance in there, then it would push the valves open when it was hot, and then it would die because it had no compression. So there's a little place you can adjust that clearance between the tappets and the valve. So here you have the intake here and the exhaust here. So the valves are coming in this way. Then you remove that cover, and there's a spring there and there's a spring there, and then between the spring and the valve there's a little two bolts, and you're able to unscrew it and make it longer, or screw it in, make it, and you want to get the exhaust down here, that's set at about 18 thousandths, and the intake is at about 8 thousandths. And the reason there's a difference is because the exhaust gets a lot hotter, so it needs more clearance when it heats up. So you'll just you'll use these two real stubby wrenches, 7/16 and 1/2 inch. One holds, I think the 1/2 inch holds the tappet, and then the end of the tappet is the 7/16, and then you just unscrew it or screw it down, and you get it to where the feeler gauge just barely goes through there, fits in there kind of a little snug. But the key, before you take that, before you set the valves, you have to have the piston at top dead center. So you remove the spark plug, turn the flywheel clockwise, I believe, and then as the piston comes up on the compression stroke, it'll push all the air. So you put your finger over the spark plug hole, and you'll feel the air being pushed out. When it stops being pushed out, you'll sort of feel it's at top dead center. When it's at top dead center, then you set the valves. It's really easy to do, and you do both sides. Once you get everything set, then you need to set the carburetor mixture at a basic level that you can get it started at. So this screw that's out here, that's going to be your idle. So when your mower's idling, this sets the fuel air mixture. And then underneath this thing that hooks the air cleaner onto, underneath there is a screw that looks just like that one, except it's just underneath. That's your main jet. So set the main jet at, seated all the way down real lightly, all the way screwed in, and then unscrew it 3 turns, 3 complete turns. And then the idle jet is going to be set at 1 1/4 turns out from just seated down just barely, not real tight. And then that'll probably allow you to get the motor started. Once you get it started, you put it on idle, and then you'll set this the idle jet screw. You screw it in till it starts to die, and then you screw it out till it starts to die, and then you put it right in the middle. Same thing with the main jet. You screw it in till it dies, or I'm sorry, you put it on high RPMs, you screw it in till it dies, and then you screw it out till it dies, and you put it right in the middle there. And that's the basic way to get that. So that will pretty much tune up your Kohler motor and get it running real good.